Hi, I'm Dr. Rick Fitzgibbons. I'd like to speak with you about healing divorced wounds. Specifically, I'd like to speak with you about healing the wounds in those who are engaged, those who are married, who experienced divorce trauma in the past, and in children. Divorce is referred to in the Catechism of the Catholic Church as a plague. I would suggest to you that from a psychological perspective, that is accurate. That divorce wounds are very deep. They produce a profoundly deep sadness. They produce an intense anger that arises out of that sadness. They wound confidence, because confidence is based not only on the love you receive from your father and your mother, but on the stability of their love. Also trusting. The ability to trust another human being is dependent upon your parents having a stable marital relationship. So we now have this epidemic of divorce. And the good news is that with growing in certain virtues and in grace, these wounds can be healed. In Judith Wallerstein's book, The Unexpected Legacy of Divorce, study at the 25-year mark, she wrote the most difficult wounds to heal are those with fathers who are selfish and faithless. So it becomes very important to look at, if you have been through a divorce family, to look at that wound and to think, okay, my ability to trust was damaged in my childhood because of my parents' divorce. I do not want to allow that wound to limit my life. We see many people who flee marriages prematurely, who flee engagements prematurely, because they have this mistrust wound from their parents' divorce. So you can think every day, I want to trust more. And understanding the sacrament of marriage can help you to think that God is the author of marriage, that it is fundamentally not your love, nor your spouse's love, that fundamentally is the rock on which your marriage is built, but it's God's love. And to think that you can draw strength from God's love, that you can rely on God's love, because we're hardwired to receive two types of love. One is the love of our spouse, and of course in children and friends. But secondly, we're hardwired to receive God's love because we're made in the image of God. And so receiving that love and trying to trust Him can protect one's trust. That is, if one can think every day, if you've been through a divorce wound, God, help me to trust you this day and help me to trust my spouse this day. We have found that to be very effective not only in the children from divorce, but in couples where there's various types of conflicts and difficulties, where your trust in your spouse diminishes because of fighting, different difficulties that arise in a marital relationship. Protecting one's trust is essential in overcoming divorce wounds and in strengthening loving relationships. It can happen, especially if you open yourself up to a spiritual part of your personality and to God, who can deepen your fundamental ability to trust and feel safe, even if you have been deeply wounded by divorce in your childhood, adolescence, or adult life.